Spring is here once again, and I am ready for another year of baseball. Everything that comes with it, the MLB season, playing fantasy baseball, and of course, MLB The Show. We're here in the Rockies franchise once again. It's been not quite 2 weeks since I wrapped up the 4th season of the Rockies franchise, and although MLB The Show 22 has now come out, at least an early release, it is out today, I will still be playing the Rockies franchise here on this game. I am nowhere near done with the Rockies, and unfortunately, there just aren't year-to-year saves in the series anymore. I was really hoping that this year, being the second game that's released on the PS5, that it would return again. I mean, year-to-year saves was huge for me in the Twins franchise, but regardless, this series is one that I really want to see through to the end, and I know many of you still enjoy it. I obviously still enjoy it, and there's so much to do. We just made the playoffs for the very first time, and we had our best season of the series. Today we're going to go through a brand new offseason and get ready for year 5 with the Rockies. I will be checking out stuff on MLB The Show 22. I got into the game just to finally confirm there would be no year-to-year saves, and I didn't see the option anywhere, but I will be checking out the game, and I want to bring some MLB content over on the second channel. I am just really excited to play more baseball, and I want to do more of it. And here's a look at how much I played in 21. I was just curious, so I took a look. And I've put over 9 days into franchise, not much anywhere else. I think I'll branch out to play some Road to the Show again this year. Obviously, I don't play a lot of Diamond Dynasty. I don't know if I'll explore the mode at all this year. It's definitely the most intriguing of the card collecting modes to me. It always seems like it's just more fun the way Show does it, and to play no money spent seems like it wouldn't be as much of a pain like playing Madden. But regardless, we're all here for the Rockies franchise today. Thank you all for staying patient. I have been getting this college football revamp stuff taken care of. That first game for UTSA will be tomorrow. It's got to be college football Saturdays, man. So today we're focusing on baseball and getting this new season underway. We have rebuilt the Rockies pretty well in this series, and we've actually done so primarily through free agency and some trades, trying to get some good value players. I mean, Trey Turner on a front-loaded contract playing as well as he did this year. That sounds fantastic. We got Rafael Devers last year. I don't know how we only got him for 11.5 a year. But obviously, he should be making close to triple that after being an MVP winner. Perhaps he wasn't as good with us, but I still loved having him on the team and think he made a big difference. But a lot of the numbers would say it wasn't as big of a difference as it maybe feels. He was not near the top in WAR anyway, if that's how you want to go by it. Although it clears the stats here when you get to the postseason. But really, we've done a lot through free agency in this series, and there aren't a lot of original players remaining. You got German Marquez, but for how much longer after a bad season this year? Things didn't work as a starter. They didn't get much better when he was in the bullpen. And making $24.3 million, I will be trying to see if maybe someone wants to trade for him as we try to fit this together for another run. But what we've gotten to see now the last 2 years are the draft picks starting to make a difference. Everything's been free agency outside of David Geronimo and then Johnny Schaefer. And Geronimo already looks like an all-star caliber player. He's hit 57 homers in 2 seasons. And although he's not great in the field, he more than makes up for it at the plate. He was a 2.7 WAR player a season ago. And then Johnny Schaefer. I have tried to be patient with him, but I think he can do well for us against lefties. The ratings are getting better against righties, but they still have a long way to go. So I don't think he'll be the everyday catcher going forward, but he's still going to play a lot. Now, there were some questions about the universal DH. I don't think there's any way for me to edit that now in this franchise, considering I think that's only an option for the start of a franchise. But basically, I feel like although this year was the peak of the series to this point, I do think there is still a lot of room for this team to get better, because it really has just been about finding free agents that can make a difference. We've barely gotten to use the players that have been drafted in series, but we're getting very close to that point. Obviously, we have a couple already on the team. We have Brian Gonzalez retire here, and he was down, I think, at double or triple A for us. So just the one retirement. Nobody going to the Hall of Fame. I guess there weren't any big name retirements. But now we have the offseason getting underway. We have to take care of our staff, and with things being so good a year ago, I don't want to see too much change if possible. It's strange, they don't give you the option to just re-sign your coaches. It's just like, alright, they're not under contract, here's everybody that is. So I do want to keep the same manager if possible, Louis Leonard. I might have to increase this offer, make it a bit stronger. So here are the free agents we have. It says we have $92 million in the available budget. Now, we made a couple trades, and we brought in John Means and Anthony Santander. I don't think I want Means to return this year if it's for big money. Let's see, 1 year, $11 million. I don't know, because that wouldn't even get it done. To me, Means was, the right move at that time, but I think with us starting a brand new season, I didn't think his strikeout stuff was all that great. He's definitely declining a bit, and at the same time, I didn't think he did a great job pitching deep into games, and I felt like his game really fell off when he would approach like 70 pitches or so. In that case, I don't think we'll be bringing back John Means. I want to see who else is available. John Gray was amazing. He wasn't even supposed to play last season for us. I mean, he was declining, and then we just had to have him start. And he turned in like a career best season out of nowhere. That's the kind of thing that can happen in the show. You're just never quite ready for some of these things. And it was fantastic. I mean, a lot of things had to align perfectly for us to make our run, especially when you consider like Andrew Heaney tearing his ACL. That was a pretty special season we had, although it ended in the division series. How do you handle players who were very good last year but are getting older and their ratings are declining? I mean, you can't just bring back players because they were good the year before, because then you run into problems. Michael Pineda was good, but do we rush to bring him back now? We definitely need to find some younger pitchers, and one of the things that I'm not sure we can continue to do is spend on relievers. Like, we don't have the biggest budget, and one thing that those big market teams can do is just go after all the relievers who want over $10 million a year to pitch like 50 innings. It's harder for us to squeeze that in, especially when we're paying so much for our offense now. So I want to try to stay competitive while also getting younger and bringing in players from our system. Here we have Jose Alvarado, and I thought he was very good last year after a rough start to the season, and we don't have a lot of great lefties in the organization. Now, I don't want to play him as the closer. I don't think. It's possible, but I kind of think Dominguez might end up taking that role. I'll say bullpen. I think of him as like the 7th or 8th inning guy going forward. And 1 year... yeah, he'd be more interested in this if I go 1 year over 2 at the same money per year. Anthony Santander, $7.6 million. He is excellent to have coming off the bench. I would probably think a 1 year deal if we get a deal with him. I'm probably also giving a 1 year offer to Michael Gibbons. He's looking for 5.4. I want to say he made 5 last year. I might have to see what free agency has when we get there. I have so many relievers in their 30s right now. This is a tricky situation to handle. So one of my thoughts going forward is I really like a lot of the players we have at AAA and AA, but I also know that when we get to spring, like the entire 40-man gets called up and it creates a mess for the options because it's inviting everybody on the 40-man, but you only have a 28-man active roster or 26-man in the regular season. So you're sending down 14 players if you have a full 40-man. Well, you can only do that so many times before a player has no more options, and now your decision is to either keep them on the active roster or waive them and hope that they don't get claimed. But I think so many of these players would get claimed. Players like Xavier Edwards, and thankfully it's not a tough decision with him because he looked good last year. 73 at-bats, hit .315. He was reliable coming off the bench, and I think that our infield depth isn't all that strong anyway, so he's a good fit there. But how about players like Austin Martin? We don't know about him as much. Ratings look decent, but the decision has to be made this year on him because of the option situation. And it's like that for a few more players. So what I think is going to happen is we're going to end up trading away some of these players because they can't all fit. And they're not all going to make it through waivers down to AAA again. So I'm probably going to try to trade for some younger pitching. That's kind of my plan. But if I'm going to do that, when's the earliest I can? I think once we get into free agency, I can start to do trades, or can I do it right now? Okay. They won't stop me from doing it right now. So if I can identify a few players and start to get an idea of those young pitchers right away, makes this a whole lot easier. Another one of those players is going to be Zach Veen, and we've talked about him since the first episode as basically being the best prospect in the organization. Now, he's dealt with injuries. Last year, started hot, got hurt, came back, ratings still in a good spot. This year, he's probably on the big league roster. Like, we're not going to be waiving him or anything. So, I think that we might have to end up trading Austin Martin. And I like him, but what can I get in terms of pitching? Okay, I can't do it now. Alex Colomé is not looking for big money at all. I'm going to offer him a $2.1 million contract. Givens, 1 overall higher. Let's see, is he coming off a higher WAR season? I'm trying to understand the contract demands here. And they have him as a 1 WAR player. I wonder if it's just the numbers end up being so much better. And I love how the show is like really looking at their recent performance and seeing a guy who's coming off a great season want to be paid, you know, based on the way he played is just such a refreshing way to play a sports franchise. Scott Oberg could also come back at a lower value, and he was good for us a year ago. Like, he was oftentimes first out of the bullpen and did a really fantastic job. Ratings are going down. Might he have another season, though? I mean, he's been good 3 straight years for us. I say we give him an offer as well. John Gray, 7.8. See, when we get to these numbers, I'm starting to want to think about waiting at least past the initial stage here. So hopefully we can fill out this staff. Usually takes a few tries on the coaches. Oh wow, Seattle wants to hire away our manager, but they're lowballing him, so I'm not touching that offer for now. And I'm going for some base coaches here that'll help out the fielding because I do think our defense is a little weak. There was some good feedback, too, about maybe moving David Geronimo to, like, first base or something. The issue that I come up with there is I kind of wanted to move Devers to first. And then France probably plays third. Can you just move Geronimo to second base and hope for the best? This is where, like, being able to make the DH would be super helpful. Especially because we're so deep in the outfield. That would open things up significantly. Like, we are built like an American League team right now. Oh, that's big money right there. So Walker Buehler, 9 years, $279 million. Those big deals will happen. Thankfully, we don't have to think about those too much right now. I don't want to do any qualifying offer this season. Now, why is it saying that the best offer is from the Orioles to be hitting coach? Am I going to have to raise my offer just because of the Orioles? The next thing I'll take care of here are the renewable contracts and arbitration to see how much room we really have this year. As usual, the tender contracts really didn't have much drama. There are a few players who just wanted, $500,000 or more that aren't on like a big league trajectory. So we'll move on from a few of these players, but otherwise, most return. Here are the arbitration players this season, and we have 3 big ones here. Nick Solak was acquired last year from the Texas Rangers. He's the utility guy, and you need someone who can play a variety of spots on defense, and I would love to bring him back. He's not looking to break the bank this year either, so I think this is going to work out, although we have to be honest and say, hey, depth. I don't think you're a star batting high in the order. I got to pay attention to this so I don't wreck morale for a bunch of players. But looks like his interest won't go past 3/4. And I'm okay, with $4.5 million offer. But it's clear he's not that interested in playing as a depth option. Okay, if I pick every day, then it changes. And I do think he'd be an everyday player. Ty France, coming off a career best season, man, he was good. 28 home runs, slugged 500, 851 OPS, 5.7 WAR player. Absolute nasty season for him. Oh, we also have to offer arbitration. We'll get back to Solak in a moment. But at least for this year, France is looking for 5.5. I'm promising him every day, and we're going to 6.5. Dom Nunez, I think, still has a role on this team as we get Johnny Schaefer ready to be an everyday catcher. He's just not quite there yet. And Dom Nunez was another player where it's like, I don't know how much we're expecting of you this year. And then he goes on to have a fantastic season, hitting 300 nearly. I mean, last year was just the perfect storm of all these players having like top 10 percentile seasons for like their possible outcomes. It was unbelievable. Jordan Holloway, I don't think he was very good a year ago. He was a home run waiting to happen. Now, no options left. Yeah, I don't know that we're going to be giving him an offer. And then you have Connor Joe, who's been very fun in this series, but has he had the impact the last couple of years? Not as much. Still a solid player when out there, but I do think now that we're just needing the roster spots for the players that we have coming up through the minor leagues. I don't know if this would fit. Does he have any options? He does. In that case, then, I am absolutely in on Connor Joe coming back, but probably being at AAA, making good money there. And then for our 40-man roster, I don't know that I have to make any changes here. We have 36 on there right now. And it says the best players I could lose in the Rule 5 are all 71 overall or under. I think I would be okay. I might want to put Heath Holder on there. We can also begin to make offers, it looks like, for free agents. Juan Soto is available. Alex Bregman, Jake DeGrom, Yoan Moncada. So many big name star players. This is pretty exciting to see. Now, I don't know that we're going to be super active here, but we have some money. Here's a nice way to look at things right now. So we have 3 players I think we can count on starting. Andrew Heaney coming off the ACL. Down to 79 overall, though. Like, that can't be good for your ratings and career trajectory. So How reliable is Heaney going to be this season? We have to think a lot about this starting pitcher spot. We had John Gray there. We had Michael Pineda, German Marquez. Ratings are still in a decent spot. Do you count on a comeback? Or do we try to clear some salary? I mean, on paper, you'd love to just say bounce back, 87 overall. Last year was the floor, got to bounce off of it, but I don't know. But we do have Colome and Oberg under contract again. Same with Alvarado, so they've accepted those deals. Very nice. That's a really good start for the bullpen to have these 5 guys. We need to find like the right 3 more. And also think about, okay, down at AAA, is anybody ready to come up? We have tried Jordan Holloway. We cannot count on him. Peter Lambert, I don't even have under contract right now. Just haven't seen it with him yet. Yeah, we've had to rebuild a lot of the pitching down here. We've tried Rolison already. That didn't work. Do you give someone like Tony Losi a chance? Only 26 years old. I'm totally open to giving a chance to some of these pitchers like Willie Madrano or Roel Ramirez. I know I traded for him, hoping that within a couple of years' time he would be a big league reliever. So we're probably going to have some competition there, but obviously we've got to get pretty serious when it comes to that multi-inning guy. I spent all last year complaining about it. I need someone to come in when the starter can only go, 3 2/3, and to give me 2 innings. Bridge the gap to those 1-inning guys and not drain the stamina of the whole bullpen. So that's where I'm saying free agency. Given the veterans we have here, these 5, I should be able to find some 1-inning guys to go around them, 1 or 2 that are young on the roster already. And let's go check out what free agency has for relief pitchers that can go multiple innings. Yeah, it's not good. So 61 stamina here for Michael Lorenzen. I think you want to get at least like 60 stamina here. 47? I mean, that's 2 innings if you're really on your game, and Loaizaga wouldn't be the worst option there. I mean, what's the number? So we're looking at 9 million roughly. Jonathan Loaizaga. That would be an option and not a terrible one. The other thing here is, can we go after a veteran starting pitcher? I mean, I see the $73 million available budget, $18 million in pending offers. That should be fine. That would leave us still with over $50 million. Does that give you the flexibility to go after someone like Freddie Peralta, who wants to be an ace, and he is not coming off a good season? Definitely can't trust you the ace role if you're coming off a 5 ERA. Feel like Adrian Hauser would be a good fit. That 75 home run per 9. He can keep it in the yard, I think. Definitely has been able to, throughout his career here, the last few years. Decent option. He's like a 4th or 5th starter. That still costs $12 million. And then there's always the possibility, of taking a veteran who's regressed a bit and hoping for a season like we got from John Gray. Bringing in someone like Robbie Ray, or, I don't know, with that combo of walk per 9 and home run per 9, I think that'd be trouble. I think I'll start out here making an $8.8 million offer for Jonathan Loaizaga. If we want to be serious here, I think we have to go after one of these big name pitchers to pair with Severino. What about Corbin Burns? So 88 overall, he's 30 years old. Ratings are in a really nice spot. And then pretty stable play the last 3 years. A whip under 126 all 3 seasons. Around a 3 to 4 WAR player. Now, he wouldn't be the ace necessarily, Severino is, so I would have to, raise this kind of considerably. I can throw in an option to make it a little bit sweeter for him. So I don't mind getting aggressive in a situation like that. Now, at the same time, if we could possibly trade Marquez that would give us a chance to do more. All right, so we would get offers here. These are definitely worth looking at. So the Yankees, Jameson Taillon, Chad Green. Wouldn't save me a ton of money, though. I don't know if I want the pitchers. So the White Sox are interested here. They would trade us veteran reliever Jace Fry. High home run per 9. Good break. A lefty. We don't have a lot of lefties in the bullpen. What's his stamina? 20. So definitely a 1-inning guy. And he's not been good the last couple years. But this could help us open up some salary. This trade definitely would. They're also willing to offer us another player that I'm not even sure I honestly need in the trade. Jonathan Stever. C potential starting pitcher. $520 million or $520,000. So kind of that, you know, just minor league pitcher, what Peter Lambert is in our organization right now. I think we're going to make the move. Marquez hasn't been quite as good as I thought he'd be in this series, and last year was just really, really bad. I really wanted to make it work with Marquez. He was one of my favorite players on the team when the series began. But I think it's the right time to make this move here. Now, free agency is going to get real interesting. Still not going to be going after the top players. I mean, I want to save some money for the future for a Devers deal. So keep that in mind. But now, I mean, even with that offer for Corbin Burnes, I think a lot is able to fit with this team. Lucas Sims is another guy who can go multiple innings with 40 stamina. Now, what does he usually do? 48 games, 44 innings, 40 games, 91 innings. So most of the time it's been 1, but for some reason in 2023, oh, that was because he started 14 of them. Was he like an opener? Either way, his numbers were fine that year. He's not looking for like 10 million a year. Is that because he's coming off the bad season? It was a step back. 4.5 ERA. WAR down. FIP is up. You know what? I think that's fine. I can do better than what these teams are offering. All right, so I already have that offer out for Corbin Burnes. Like, the Brewers are losing their whole staff this year. Woodruff's a free agent. Freddie Peralta's a free agent. That's going to be an interesting situation for them. There is Jake DeGrom all the way up here. Now, we'd have to offer a bit to make him actually want to be on the team, because we're not a great fit. Doesn't see us as much of a contender, but I mean, we can definitely go to one of these $20 million deals. This is actually quite flexible, what we're able to do this season. Why not go after Jake DeGrom? $20 million, all right? That's a nice offer. More than what the Mets are offering. And hey, they offered Shane Bieber big money. They're trying to replace you right now. So I think I want to go forward a day and just see what happens. This could get big. Louis Leonard is the manager. Juan Soto is going to Cleveland. 9 years, $279 million. And the Rockies get Jake DeGrom. Oh, this is going to be an interesting season. We're trying to go toe-to-toe with the Dodgers and Padres in this series. And this could help us do just that. Austin Meadows gets a monster deal from the Nationals. Germán Marquez traded to the White Sox. That helped us, you know, basically, you know, we gained $20 million in space with this trade. That went to Jake DeGrom. Huge. So a couple days into free agency, now things look like this. We add a veteran reliever and a pretty good veteran starter as well. Severino and DeGrom here, top of the rotation. You got Yanni Chirinos, perfect third pitcher in a rotation. And then Andrew Heaney coming off the ACL. Offensively, I don't see us making a lot of change. We have great players in place. We have our high average guys. We have our power guys. and I want to develop a lot of the young guys on the bench. So I love the way this is coming together. Let's keep it going. We still have strong offers here. A little competition here from Houston for Jonathan Loaizaga. What was my offer there? 8.8. All right. I'm going to go to 9 million then. Increase that a little bit. Lucas Sims accepts the offer to come to Colorado. 2 years, 10 million. Not coming off his strongest season, but I think it's great value for what he could bring to the team. Mike Soroka, he's going to the Mets. Mariners get Nick Anderson. And then Dominic Smith. Okay, he just had an incredible few years with the Mets, and now he's going to the Tampa Bay Rays. Let's see where these offers are. Corbin Burns still has this offer. Did Loaizaga make his decision? It doesn't show everybody. I wish it showed all the players that like you had offered to. Oh wait, it shows Loaizaga on that screen. Okay. But now you have the A's getting into here. And this is what happens too. Like, nobody shows their entire hand first day of free agency. You sim like 5 days in, and you get these massive offers that you weren't expecting. You know, when you see little interest on a player early on, you're like, all right, maybe come in with a cheap 1-year offer, and that never gets it done. Maybe we increase the offer here for Corbin Burns. What was my offer there? 43.5. I say we go to $45 million then. And let's also make sure he's got that player option. I mean, that is pretty good offer right there. So as it sits right now, 44 million in pending, 56 in available. So probably not doing anything until he makes his decision. But we might have to give up here on Loaizaga. I just don't think I can be that competitive. Jordan Luplow signs with Boston. Danny Jansen gets a nice deal. Chris Paddock gets the big money going to the Brewers, so he's leaving the Padres. Giovanni Gallegos going to the Dodgers. That's a pretty good stat line he had last year. Yoan Moncada surprisingly going to the Braves. White Sox had offered initially. Carson Kelly going to the Nationals. Pete Alonso. So the Rays get another player from the Mets. Him and Dominic Smith. And the Braves are not done. Yoan Moncada and Eloy Jimenez. So you got teammates going to new teams in free agency. Liam Hendricks to Houston. We're still waiting to see what Corbin Burns wants to do. So, big market for Shane Bieber, Victor Robles. Like, he had nothing until a couple days ago, and now it's $100 million. We're still in the lead here. We're not giving him the years, but we're giving him the money. And Corbin Burns will be coming to the Colorado Rockies. What a pitching staff we're putting together this season. I wasn't sure we could do anything this aggressive. But we just literally added Jake DeGrom and Corbin Burns to the rotation. This is incredible what I've been able to do with this team. And we still have, I think, a really solid bullpen that won't have significant change from last season. And now if we check out our budget, still $22 million available. Obviously, don't want to do a bunch of multi-year deals because we will have some money to think about for next season. But wow. Let's take a look at our top paid players in 2025. We have Corbin Burns, Luis Severino, Jake DeGrom, and then Andrew Heaney. Like, we're putting a lot of money into our starting rotation here. You got Brandon Nimmo, Trey Turner. So many of these deals are so friendly. I mean, France only making 6.5. This is kind of our all-in season. Because, I mean, Ty France is a free agent next year. So is Rafael Devers. And then DeGrom, Burns if he wants it. This is a big year for us. Brian Reynolds only 6.2 million. Last year wasn't the all-in year. This certainly is. So we have done nothing to change the starting lineup. This is like the same lineup we rolled out in the playoffs. Do we want to make a move for the bench? Right now, our pitchers and the starting lineup right here equals 20. So we have 6 more spots to go. One of those will be Schaefer, yes. One will be Dom Thompson-Williams, I believe. And then Xavier Edwards. That's 23. Let's put Zach Veen in there to make it 24. There would be room for 2 more players on the bench. And ideally, they'd be infielders. It's possible that Austin Martin would fit. What hurts him is a lack of position flexibility. Shortstop, center fielder. Just wants to be a superstar. So, I don't know about him right now. What I think we need then is a first baseman. Because no one else can play it. Solak is set to be a starter, so you can't count on him. Here are the options if you want to add some power off the bench. Wow, some regression here is wild too. Goldschmidt's a 74. Looking at these ratings, I do like Rowdy Tellez a lot. Gives you really good contact and power with solid defense as well. Might be the best option. The Mets are still trying to spend money too. Jesus Aguilar is also a great option. 81 power, 68. So a little bit less, but not a ton of interest in him from other teams. Although, coming off a couple disappointing years, you do want to pay attention to the numbers here. -2 WAR a season ago. How about Tellez? Alright, 22 and 27 home runs. 1.5 WAR a season ago. What does Josh Bell have? 27 and 25 homers. I mean, he's done a really good job. High WAR the last 2 years as well. Alright, that makes you want to offer to Josh Bell. 1 year to come to Coors, hit a bunch of home runs, and then you cash in for even more next season. Like, how can you decline that offer? 10 million to just come and hit some homers. Oh, that's still a worse offer in his eyes. I have 22 available. I'll go to 11 here and see what Josh Bell thinks about that. And Josh Bell will come to Denver this season. That's pretty exciting. Michael Conforto going to the Dodgers. Sandy Alcantara going to the Reds. I did think about him as well as a pitching option. I do have to remove a player from the 40-man. That's going to be Elijah Diori and Todd Sinigi. Make another spot there for the Rule 5 draft, maybe. Although it's not a great year for us to attack that. So John Means ended up getting a decent offer, 4 years, $46 million. Helped us get to the postseason. We're appreciative, but it was the right call, I think, to move on. Tyler O'Neill is going there as well. That's not bad. 5 years, $43 million for a guy with real power, but coming off a down season. Freddie Peralta to Minnesota. So with those struggles, Peralta gets 4 years, $42 million. I'd just like to see him ask for less years in that case, because he could bounce back at 29, change his entire market in a calendar year. But yeah, that's a huge bargain for Minnesota with him not playing well last season. Brandon Woodruff, 3 years, $45 million. Wow, only 15 a year. Franmil Reyes is going to the Bay. 46 home runs, led the American League, I want to say, a year ago. Shane Bieber to the Giants. All right. So that's a big addition for our division. Hey, the Pirates spent money. Willie Adames, they were in the playoffs last season. The Pirates have turned the corner. And still, late in free agency, you got $100 million out there. And some players who still don't have a lot of interest, apparently. Jose Altuve. Like, was he bad last year? Yeah, he was worse. Like, his average, his slugging has been on the decline. Free agency in this game is honestly very fun. J.P. Crawford, 5 years, $138 million going to the Giants after hitting $300 a year ago. Yeah, he's a fun shortstop. That's a really big deal, though. That's a very big deal, though. $27 million, more than I thought he would get. Brandon Lau, 3 years, $29 million. Alex Verdugo, 4 years, $88. Gleyber Torres, 5 years, $92. Victor Robles is going to the Giants, so they have made some serious moves. Shane Bieber, Victor Robles. They're going to be interesting this year. They're trying to come back after we took their playoff spot, basically. We got the Rule 5 draft here. And we have a few players who actually could go. None have yet. I might pick someone up just to see. You know, it wouldn't be a bad idea for a reliever to just take a chance. If it doesn't work, let him go back to his original club. I think I'll do that for like a pitcher. So I made the roster spot already on the 40-man. We have Seth Johnson here and Ethan Small, both 26 years old. Small has 72 home run per 9, 69 stamina. Johnson 58 home run per 9, so a significant difference there. Only a little bit more stamina. Ethan Small, the lefty. Are there a lot of long relief pitchers who are lefty? I usually think of right-handed pitchers, but I think I'll give this chance to Ethan Small. See if he ends up making the team or not through spring training. We got the Blue Jays taking players, I think, in 3 rounds. All right, that is the Rule 5 draft for this year. I don't think we lost anybody. Wow. Jose Altuve going to the Mets, 3 years, $10 million. Just not the player he once was anymore. I like that it showed us that. Kenta Maeda, I thought about him. But I went for some higher ceiling pitchers at the time, and he ends up getting 14. I think we still have like 10 million in space, which I want to sit on in case we have to make something happen here in a trade. We have a coaching staff now, all filled out. And then, do we have the arbitration hearings? We're already at spring training. I missed all the arbitration hearings. I was looking forward to that. I can't find the full list of the arbitration moves, but I do see John Gray going to the Cubs, 1 year, $4.5 million. So there were some players who had some fantastic seasons for us a year ago, but we weren't counting on a bunch of repeats. So he's on a new team. We'll have to see if Michael Pineda got signed. But our available budget now is $8.4 million. So that suggests that we lost the hearing on a couple players. Maybe those went in their favor then. Ty France is at 6.5. Solax 4.4. I don't know where all those are. Next year's going to be tough, though, when it comes to free agency. We got some of our best players hitting free agency a year from now. But while we have this window and a team this good, and our budget is this solid, yeah, we're going all in. One more time, here's a list of the free agents next year. DeGrom, Devers, Alvarado, Solak, Reynolds, France, Josh Bell now, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Yanni Chirinos, Andrew Heaney, Alexander Colomé, Jace Fry, Scott Oberg. Yeah, that's a lot. But you gotta love where this team is at this season. Adding Jake DeGrom and Corbin Burns along with some new relievers. So Lucas Sims comes over. We're hoping for a bounce back. I think he's got great ratings. I'm just looking for solid long relief. Hopefully he can deliver it. We had a few more new faces here in the bullpen. Bring back the likes of Alexander Colomé and Scott Oberg. But at the end of the day, I like where this team is at. I think we can compete again for a playoff spot and for the top of this division, perhaps? We'll see. The Dodgers are still pretty solid. Let's take a look at those rosters. Oh, ours, by the way. So DeGrom, Turner, 4 players in the 90s overall. And then for the Dodgers, more than 4. But a lot of the familiar names we've become used to here in the series. They did add Michael Conforto, and I don't think they ended up losing much at all. The Padres. So I know they lost Chris Paddock, who last year was their best pitcher. I don't know that Blake Snell's... Okay, he has been great. I remember once we destroyed him, and that's all I can think about when I think about Blake Snell. They're still good, though. Like, they could definitely handle that, I'd say. The Giants. Shane Bieber. Jack Flaherty. Lucas Giolito. They've been busy the last few years assembling this rotation to compete in the NL West. They also bring in Victor Robles. This is big-time stuff that they're trying to do. Then, where are the Diamondbacks? Carlos Correa, of course. Zach Gallen. So they must have gotten a deal with him. That or, okay, next year he's a free agent. Sometimes they're like a year off on this menu. Sometimes that tricks me. They brought in Max Kepler with Merrifield. Yeah, I still think you'd have to look at them as the last place team. Just not a very deep top of the roster. It quickly drops off to the low 80s. Do you think with what this team has done today, we can compete to do better than what we did a year ago? 93 wins, and our first playoff win was pretty big. But ultimately, we want to beat the LA Dodgers. Are we there yet? Do we have what it takes? At the same time, how about players like David Geronimo continuing to ascend? I don't think he's at his ceiling. What about Johnny Schaefer at catcher? And what about the young bench we're going to have this season? I'm really excited to see in spring training what we end up getting from a Dale Amador, perhaps. He's probably going to be at AAA, but it's really going to be with Dom Thompson-Williams, Austin Martin, Zach Veen, and Xavier Edwards. Maybe we have the room to keep all these players and I don't have to make a lot of trades. But if we do, I'm prepared for that. And I think I just had a pretty solid offseason. Offense didn't change much. Pitching did. Was that the right call, or should I have been more aggressive when it comes to the offense? Thank you all for watching today's video. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the offseason and are looking forward to more of the Rockies franchise. I'm going to do my best to get episodes up a lot more frequent than I did here, especially the last couple of months where it seemed to only be like every 4 or 5 days. Not a good pace for a baseball series in my eyes. Want to get that much better, even with UTSA back on the channel. Year 5 gets underway soon. We have spring training coming up, and that'll be here in a couple days. I will take a little time to get familiar with MLB 22 and make some content there, and I'd like to get something going on the second channel. But over here, it's going to be more of the Colorado Rockies franchise. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you next time.